I am joined by Senator Corker. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Lots of ideas how to deal with the budget situation right now. Your idea, a fiscal straitjacket, if you will. Walk us through how you would approach this problem.
Okay, well, you know, most folks look at country spending relative to their economic output. Today, in our own country, we're at all-time highs. We haven't been at this level since 1945. We're spending 24.5% of our country's economic output on the federal government. The 40-year average has been 20.6%. So the CAP Act, which I have bipartisan support both in the House and Senate for, basically takes us from where we are today down to that 40-year historical average. And obviously, if we don't meet those benchmarks on the way down, sequestration occurs, where OMB comes out and takes money out of every account of government, something no senator or House member wants to see. So it has real teeth in it, but it provides a long-term plan. I think one of the most frustrating things about serving here is we never know where we're going. I mean, 3 weeks ago, the country watched as we did last year's business this year. The CAP Act puts us on a glide path to fiscal sanity through spending cuts and puts us back in the norm. It's a very reasonable approach that will save us $7.6 trillion.
And that's over 10 years. Is it your hope that this will be the companion piece to any increase in the debt ceiling? This is the kind of measure that might get the Republican support to get this done? Well,
look, I can tell you for sure that I'm not going to vote for a debt ceiling increase unless something like this, there may be another idea that comes up. I certainly don't have a monopoly on wisdom, but it would take something like this to get me to support a debt ceiling increase. I've learned after 4 years here, Peter, that it's irresponsible not to be responsible prior to these debt ceiling votes. And obviously, this is some leverage. This is a time for us to take billions in savings, which we saw 3 weeks ago, to trillions. And I think this is an important seminal moment for our country, and I hope that the CAP Act is a part of that, but there may be something else that works equally as well.
You got some Democratic support already for your proposal. You also have some Democratic criticism, some suggesting that this would trigger automatically draconian cuts, or some of the terms we're using, for Medicare and those kinds of things.
Yeah, look, Medicare is going to be insolvent in the year 2020. Everyone knows that. We have to redesign these programs, and what the CAP Act does is force us on a bipartisan basis to redesign these programs, which, unless you have your head in your sand, that we have to do that. So, what it does, Peter, is, Congress does not act unless it has to. There's not the courage or the will to take on tough issues. Everybody wants to punt until the next election, and we have those every 2 years, so we just keep punting. The CAP Act will force us to redesign these entitlement programs, which are a big part of what's creating these deficits, and make sure they're there for the future. So that's a very reasonable thing. I mean, what's wrong with going to our 40-year historic average? We were just there 3 years ago, over a 10-year period.
Really quick, shift gears on you. Pakistan, the situation there. I know you got a briefing from the CIA Director, Leon Panetta. What do you make of whether Pakistan knew Osama bin Laden was there?
Look, the Pakistani military and intelligence were either incompetent or in cahoots. And since they basically run the country, I mean, the politicians really are totally deferential to the military. Either one is not a good place to be for the military. I think this whole thing, Peter, resets our relationship with them in many ways. $22 billion in aid has gone to Pakistan since 2002. A lot of us are going to be looking at this relationship, which I consider to be transactional. It's not really a real relationship. I mean, the fact that, obviously we did not work with them as it relates to going in and getting Osama bin Laden for obvious reasons.
Yeah. All right, Senator Corker, we got to leave it there. Got the market open coming up.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining.